So the Supreme Court has made their decision on Nnamdi Kanu's case, and this is what they said, according to what was posted by Aloy Ejimako, his lawyer. He said, sadly, the Supreme Court upheld the appeal against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's discharge, but it also held that the invasion of his house, revocation of his bail, and rendition were all unlawful. The court has remitted the case to the Federal High Court to deal with it in line with the rulings it made. Now, let me explain it to you. You know, Nnamdi Kanu was initially on bail when the army invaded his home to go and whatever they did, because they were shooting sporadically into his house. Actually, the aim was to buy him and his entire family, which on that same day, they buyed a lot of people. So now the Supreme Court said that act was unlawful, and that was what made Nnamdi Kanu to jump bail, because Nnamdi Kanu was on bail, which means his case was still ongoing, but he was on bail. So he had to jump bail because he escaped with his life and ran to Israel. So the Supreme Court is now saying that that invasion they did to his home is unlawful. And you know that because of that, because he was made to appear in court for his hearing, which he could not appear because he was no longer in Nigeria. Now, the Supreme Court is saying that the reason why he could not appear to hear his case, he could not appear for his case and jumped bail was because the army invaded his home, which is unlawful. So the bail that he was enjoying that time, the Supreme Court said that revocation of that bail is unlawful, which means he wants the High Court to restore that bail. Because immediately he failed to appear in court, the High Court revoked the bail they have given him. That bail is that he should go home and be attending the case from his home. Now, let us look at this case in this angle. The Supreme Court just confirmed now that this federal government broke 3 laws on this matter. Now, who will be punished for those 3 laws they broke? They did not just break law, they committed a terrible offense. In short, some of which can be seen as a terrorist attack or offense. But who will be punished for it? Nobody. The Nigerian army invaded Nnamdi Kanu's home. The whole world saw the video. Everybody saw how the way they were shooting sporadically into a home where there are young children, pets, people, families, and they pied a lot of people. According to the report on that time, it was about 20-something people that they pied on that day. After this man narrowly escaped with his life to Israel, the next thing is that the same criminal entity went ahead to the court and said that his hearing is today, he has to appear, and that in fact the person who stood as his shorty, we should go and provide him. The people we lost on that day, nobody will be questioned for it. Losing life in this country has become a norm. The army can carry out, just like the recent one they did, the terrorist operation they carried out in Kaduna recently, and they said is a mistake. Every day they keep doing things in this country because nobody questions anybody. If it was to be a reasonable country, do you think the Supreme Court have the right to open their mouth and pronounce the act of the federal government as unlawful, and yet nobody is questioned for that unlawful act? You went to Kenya to bring him back, extraordinarily rendition him, broke international law. The Supreme Court confirmed it was unlawful, yet nobody is to be questioned for it. Yet the same person you committed this offense against, you are still holding him back, reversing his case to 2017. There is no law in Nigeria. And if you are still, the best thing you can do for yourself is to stay away from anything that will make you find yourself in Nigerian court. Because you will definitely not get justice. There is absolutely no justice in this country. There is no law in this country. And it is very clear and very evident at this point that this country itself is just like a timing bomb that a day will come, it will no longer exist. The way it is going. If we continue this way, this lawlessness we are promoting every day. If the Supreme Court could not uphold the discharge of Nnamdi Kanu over a criminal offense against his own rights, if they could not uphold it and have to reverse this case back to, on what ground does the Supreme Court want the Federal High Court to try Nnamdi Kanu based on a case that was existing before? On what ground? When you have already confirmed that even bringing him back into the country is unlawful, then on what ground are you trying? Are you going to try him on top of an unlawful ground? You are returning the case to Federal High Court. If we talk, they will say we just come out to talk because we don't know what we are saying. But here they are. This is them, the Nigerian judiciary again, dancing naked in the market. I'll tell you this and I'll say it for good. Nigeria is a criminal state. That is exactly what it is.